let me take you to Mackinac Island, Michigan. No cars, no traffic lights, just a clip-clop of horse hooves and the hum of bike tires on the street. Yeah, you heard me. Cars aren't even allowed here. Instead, you've got this old-school charm that feels like stepping straight into a postcard. Picture it. Cobblestone streets lined with quaint little shops, waterfront views stretching as far as the eye can see, and, oh, the fudge. Seriously, this place is famous for its fudge. You can smell it in the air, no joke. It's like dessert heaven. All right, let's talk about the real showstopper on this island, the Grand Hotel. This place, it's got some serious old-school charm. We're talking the world's longest porch, filled with rocking chairs, all looking out over some seriously stunning lake views. It's like stepping into a scene from a movie, right? Inside, it's all fancy with big ceilings, marble floors, and history that'll make your head spin. But here's the kicker. There's something about this place that just feels off. You ever get that feeling, like a place is hiding something? Yeah, trust me, we're about to dive into that. Mackinac Island, as beautiful as it is with all its charm and history, has a reputation for being haunted. Yep, you heard me right. There's a side to it you don't hear about in the brochures. The same Grand Hotel, with all its grandeur, is actually famous for its ghosts. It's not just pretty views and fancy furniture. People who stayed there report seeing strange shadows, hearing footsteps when no one's around, and even ghostly whispers echoing through the halls. But here's where it gets creepy. Some say the place is haunted because of all the lives it's seen. The old hotel, dating back to the late 1800s, has witnessed so much history. And some say the spirits of those who never got to leave still linger. And don't even get me started on the mysterious figure that shows up at the top of the grand staircase. Some people claim it's the ghost of a former guest who died under mysterious circumstances. Makes you wonder if there's something the hotel's not telling us, doesn't it? It's not just a Grand Hotel that's got the weird vibes. Now, let's talk about Lucy, a little girl, gone too soon, who's never really left. Legend has it her family went away one weekend, and that's when tragedy struck. But here's where it gets freaky. People say she still roams the streets at night, calling out for her parents. Picture this. Lucy with curly hair, wearing a light-colored sundress, walking silently through the streets, her soft voice carried by the wind. If you're lucky or unlucky, you might even hear her, faint but clear. But Lucy, she's not the only ghost in town. Some believe there's something about this place. An energy, something dark, just waiting to be discovered. Not all ghosts are as sweet as little Lucy. Just when you think you've heard it all, Mackinac Island throws you another curveball. Ever heard of Fort Holmes? Yeah, that old fort has its own ghostly stories. Visitors claim to have seen strange figures moving behind the walls. No one's really sure who's haunting it, if it's even a who, but the mystery's enough to keep you up at night. What is it about this island? With all the creepy sightings and chilling sounds, it's clear. Mackinac isn't haunted by just its history. There's something else here too. Kinda makes you rethink everything, right? So, Jumeirah, a name practically synonymous with luxury. Dubai's all about extravagance, right? You've got the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building. Shopping malls so huge you could get lost in them. And the beaches, man. This place has it all. Luxury, beauty, and endless sunshine. But here's the thing. You've heard about the sunshine and luxury, right? What about the dark side? Yeah, in the heart of Jumeirah, there's this villa. The Jumeirah House of the Devil. Doesn't sound so inviting now, huh? Built as a lavish 7-bedroom villa, it's got everything you'd want for a relaxing stay. Or so you'd think. But here's the twist. There's a rumor that's been floating around for years. This place, it's said to be haunted. And it's not your typical luxury house. People talk about dark energy here. a vibe you can feel even if you don't want to. Some locals claim there's a chilling presence, a male figure roaming the halls, showing up when least expected, as if he's still watching over the place. And it's not just some tall tale. This house has been around for years, witnessing the good, the bad, and the downright eerie. Some say the dark energy comes from the lives this place has seen. Spirits of those who never really left, just lingering, waiting for their time to be known. People who stayed there, they felt it, man. Rumors say a cold chill hits you out of nowhere, even when the sun's blazing outside. Or you feel a presence you can't explain, like a shadow that follows you, even though no one's there. Sounds like a bad horror movie, right? Yeah, but it's real. Or at least, that's what they say. Makes you wonder, what's really going on inside? Is it just a house playing tricks? Or is there something deeper? Something it doesn't want to tell us? Now, you're probably thinking, come on, it's just some rumors. But listen, there's more to this story. Some locals even claim there's a connection between the house and some unsettling events, like a rumored suicide that happened here, one that's never fully explained. Ever notice how certain places can just feel off? Well, this one's got that vibe. Some swear they've seen about strange occurrences, like lights flickering in rooms when there's no one around. Could it be a past resident? Or maybe someone who met their end under mysterious circumstances? Makes you wonder, if you were ever to stay there, what would you encounter? Something you can't explain? Or something that's been waiting, hiding in the shadows? Your call. This place, it's stunning, isn't it? It's the Thaew Heritage Hotel in Hong Kong. Pure elegance, standing bold in the heart of a quaint fishing village. It's got that postcard-perfect charm, lush greenery, crystal clear views of the South China Sea, and a sense of peace that makes you want to stay forever. But hey, you're probably thinking, wait, why is this called a police station? What's a luxury hotel got to do with that? Yeah, that's the twist. There's a story here, a wild one. This building wasn't always a cozy boutique hotel. Before all the renovations, this was the old Thaew police station, built back in 1892. And let me tell you, its past isn't just about law and order. There's a darker side to this place, a history that'll send chills down your spine. And trust me, it's not the kind of history you'd expect from a place so serene. You've heard the luxury side. Now let's crack open the past. First up, a chilling true crime straight out of a detective novel. In 1918, Police Sergeant Thomas Cecil Glendinning was shot dead right here in the charge room. The shooter? Constable Teja Singh, who didn't stop there. He held the sergeant's wife and child hostage. Dark enough? It gets worse. Fast forward to World War II. This station wasn't just another outpost. The Japanese army seized it after local guerrilla fighters had taken control. What followed was pure horror. Locals speak of torture and executions for anyone who dared to resist. And then there's the twist. This place didn't just handle criminals or warfare. At one point, it doubled as a mental hospital. Imagine the energy that lingers in those walls. Eerie, right? But the ghost stories? Oh, they're the stuff of nightmares. Locals have reported chilling cries echoing at night, phantom footsteps in empty halls, and the creepiest of all, headless figures silently wandering the property. Feeling uneasy yet? Picture this. A shadowy figure standing in the window, staring into the endless night. Is it just the building's haunted history? Or something more? So, what's it gonna be? Would you dare to check in here? Or are you leaving the past exactly where it belongs? Welcome to Teatro Tapia in Puerto Rico. This place, a theater with a history that packs more than just drama. Sure, it looks charming, classic Spanish architecture with its grand columns and intricate details. But dig a little deeper and you'll find something unsettling. Behind the curtains of its rich history, there's a whole lot more going on than just performances. And no, it's not just the actors who might leave you speechless. It's got a past that'll haunt your nightmares. First up, there's that ghost. No one knows who she is exactly, but they say she's a regular in the theater's Box 105. A woman in a red dress, appearing behind guests. Just chilling. Then, poof, she vanishes. And it doesn't stop there. She's been showing up for years. I mean, the spirit or a specter or maybe devil? Ain't no idea how to address her. Locals are convinced she's connected to the theater's dark, twisted history. There's something about that place that drags you back, even when you know you should stay the hell away. They say you can hear things when no one's around. Maybe it's more than that. The strangest part? People swear she's not the only one. The theater has its share of restless spirits, still stuck in the past, never moving on. Who knows who or what you might encounter lurking in the dark corners. So what's your move? Will you risk checking out Teatro Tapia? Or will you let the dead stay where they belong and keep your distance? There come the first castle on the list, Himeji Castle. This isn't some fairy tale fortress or just another pretty landmark. Behind these towering walls, there's a story that's darker than the shadows they cast. This place was built to impress, sure, but it also holds a tragic secret, one that's haunted the castle for centuries. And no, it's not just some random ghost story. It's got roots in betrayal, death, and vengeance. So, buckle up, because this one's got some serious spine-chilling history to unpack. So here's where it gets real. The story behind Himeji Castle isn't just a legend. It's a haunting that's lasted for centuries. It's all about Okiku. She was accused of something she didn't do, losing valuable family treasures, dishes that were worth more than her life. The punishment? Death. Thrown into a well, her life snuffed out just like that. And that's not the end of it. Okika's ghost is still here, every night, at the bottom of the well. She counts those damn dishes in a voice that'll make your blood run cold. One by one, over and over, like she's trapped in this loop that'll never let her escape. Some say her cry echoes through the castle walls, but it's not just the sound. It's the feeling, the weight of the history, the wrongness that still hangs in the air. Would you want to stick around when the night falls? When Okika's counting, and you might just hear her? Step into Shaniwar Wada, a place that's as legendary as it is terrifying. This fort palace, built in the 1700s, used to be the heart of the Maratha Empire. But there's something about this place that gives off a serious bad vibe. It's not just the history, though. It's what went down here. You see, this place is linked to a bloody family betrayal that still echoes in its walls. And trust me, you won't want to stick around after dark to find out why. The eerie chill in the air? Yeah, that's just the beginning. Ever wonder why they close the gates at 6:30 p.m. sharp? There's a good reason for that. The gates close at 6:30 p.m. for a reason. It's not just about the time of day. It's about the danger. When night falls, something inside shifts. After this hour, it's not safe. You think it's just a fort? Think again. In 1773, a dark betrayal took place here. Narayana, the young Peshwa of the Maratha Empire, was murdered by his own uncle, Raghunatha. The motive? Pure jealousy. Raghunatha couldn't stand Narayana's power, so he killed him in cold blood. But this isn't just history. It's a curse. Ever since that brutal night, Narayana's spirit hasn't found peace. Locals swear they hear his screams, loud and desperate, piercing the silence on full moon nights. It's not a tale. It's real. And it gets worse. Some have seen him, his ghost, trapped inside these walls, forever wandering the halls where his life was stolen. This is why the gates are locked. It's not for safety from the outside. It's to keep him contained. So, do you dare to walk into the darkness? Or will you respect the warning and keep your distance? Tucked deep in Canada's Rocky Mountains, the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel doesn't just sit, it commands towering stone walls, sweeping alpine views, and a nickname as grand as its presence, the castle in the Rockies. But where there's beauty, there's always a shadow. This isn't just a luxury retreat, over a century of history, and not all of it is the kind you want to write home about. Unseen whispers, locked doors that seem to have a mind of their own, and uninvited guests you can't exactly call security on. Think you know haunted? This place rewrites the rules. Because when you learn what's really been happening here, you might think twice before unpacking your bags. Let's pull back the curtain on what really haunts this place. One of the most chilling tales? The Ghost Bride. The story dates back to the 1930s. A bride, descending the grand staircase, lost her footing. Some say it was her long gown. Others whisper it was something else. She fell to her death before she could even say, "I do." But her story didn't end there. Guests and staff alike have reported sightings. A woman in a flowing wedding dress, wandering the ballroom or standing silently on the stairs. They say she's still waiting for the dance that never came. And then there's room 873. Officially, the hotel insists it doesn't exist anymore. But behind that bricked up wall lies a legend. A family once stayed there, only for tragedy to strike. The parents and child were murdered in cold blood. No one knows why. Even after the room was sealed, guests staying nearby reported terrifying screams in the night, bloody handprints that reappeared on mirrors after being wiped away, and a presence so heavy it felt impossible to breathe. The staff won't talk about it, but for those who know, room 873 is a place you don't want to find yourself. So, what do you think? A stunning mountain escape, or something far darker hiding in plain sight? Look, I get it. An abandoned railway station feels out of place on a list like this, right? But here's the thing. This isn't just any abandoned spot. It's like the station refuses to let go of its past. You walk in, and it's not just decay you feel, it's tension. Years ago, this was Tbilisi's pride. Trains rolled in, people bustled about, and now, it's like the world forgot it existed. But that doesn't mean it's empty. They say if you step inside, you'll feel it, like someone or something is still waiting for a train that'll never come. The air feels heavier than it should in the quiet, way too quiet. It's off the grid, but not off our radar. Because some places, no matter how abandoned, won't stay silent. And you'll want to hear what the station has to say. Here's why this ghostly relic made the cut. Once the heartbeat of Tbilisi, this station saw the rise and fall of empires. But its story didn't end when the last train rolled out. The whispers, they start with its dark past. Prisoners transported during wars, countless never making it back. Some say their spirits linger, stuck in transit forever. Then there are the sightings. Shadowy figures pacing the platforms, like they're waiting for a train that'll never come. Locals claim to hear muffled voices, conversations in a language no one speaks anymore. One story stands out, a conductor who vanished without a trace during the station's final days. Visitors swear they've seen him, lantern in hand, still doing his rounds, calling out for passengers long gone. And the feeling here? It's like the station itself is alive. Doors creak open without a breeze. Old train whistles echo when there's no train in sight. So yeah, it's abandoned, but far from empty. That's why it earns its spot. Would you dare step onto its platform? It's an architectural marvel, La Recoleta Cemetery. Rows of elaborate mausoleums, statues carved to perfection, and history etched in every corner. This place feels more like an art exhibit than a graveyard. But don't let the beauty fool you. Something about it feels off. For every grand tomb, there's a story. And not all of them are peaceful. Some say La Recoleta isn't just home to Argentina's elite. It's a playground for restless souls. What's buried here might surprise you. Scratch that, it will surprise you. The stories here go from strange to downright horrifying. Take the tale of Rufina Cambyses, the young woman whose beauty made her a socialite legend. She was declared dead, only she wasn't. Days after her burial, workers reported hearing muffled screams coming from her tomb. When they finally opened it, the truth was worse than anyone imagined. Scratch marks covered the inside of her coffin. Her face, torn, as if she had fought for her life. They say she'd been buried alive, trapped in a coma that mimicked death. Her restless spirit is said to wander, her footsteps echoing, as if still searching for escape. And she's not the only one. Recoleta's shadows hold more than just the whispers of the past. Locals rumored some mausoleums radiate negative energy, like the dead are watching, waiting. Dare to wander here at night? What's better than a pub? How about one that's been around since the 1600s and brimming with ghost stories as rich as its Alish? Welcome to the Red Lion Pub in Avebury, England, a fan favorite on this list for good reason. It's not just the pints that draw visitors, but the centuries of history, lore, and chilling tales. Set in the ancient Avebury stone circle, this spot has hosted countless travelers, soldiers, and seekers over the years. It's a place where the old world meets the supernatural, offering more than just a good drink. Whether you're here for the spirits in the glass or the ones in the shadows, the Red Lion is anything but your average pub. But don't get too comfortable. Things here are far from ordinary. The Red Lion Pub isn't just a place to grab a pint. It's a full-on supernatural hotspot, packed with more chills than your beer. Florrie's the headline act here. She's got a story that'll make you think twice about sitting near the well-turned table. Legend says her husband caught her cheating and, well, let's just say Florrie ended up in the well. Now, her spirits got unfinished business. Bar patrons have spotted her wandering, like she's still keeping an eye on the place. But Florrie's not drinking alone. Oh no! Locals talk about a phantom carriage that clatters through the yard like it's rushing to keep a ghostly date. And it doesn't end there. Disembodied voices and objects moving on their own. Classic haunted pub vibes, right? Here's where it gets wild. The pub set inside a prehistoric stone circle, part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site. These stones, believed to have been for ancient rituals. Yeah, wrap your head around that. Centuries-old spiritual energy swirling around while you're sipping your ale. The staff? Legends in their own right. They've got stories that'll raise your neck hairs, happy to share their encounters. And if you think this is all just pub talk, remember, even the TV crew from Most Haunted couldn't ignore this place. So, grab your drink, but keep one eye on your pint and the other on the shadows. This is one happy hour you won't forget. Jewaro Motorway, a route linking Seoul to Thaew, is your typical stretch of road by day. But when night rolls in, this place flips the script. Late night drivers report seeing her, a solitary woman standing in the middle of the road, looking like she's been pulled straight out of your worst nightmare. She's got sunglasses on, which seems weird enough for nighttime. But here's the kicker. What's behind those shades isn't eyes, just pitch black voids, staring straight through your soul. Sounds like urban legend material, right? Except too many drivers have the same eerie encounter. Some swerve, others slam their brakes, but all of them are left rattled. Accidents pile up in this area, and while skeptics blame the sharp turns or bad lighting, locals know better. The stories say if you dare to meet her gaze, or lack thereof, you'll end up as another statistic. Is she a warning, a vengeful spirit, or just your imagination running wild? Whatever you believe, one thing's for sure. When you're driving this stretch late at night, keep your eyes on the road and pray she doesn't step into your headlights. Tucked away straight to Germany, the Black Forest. Thick trees, shadows lurking, and a deep silence that swallows sound. This place feels straight out of a horror movie. But the weirdest part, it's not just the looks that'll mess with your head. The stories here, dude, they're next level. Spooky enough to give any horror fanatic chills. This forest is a stage for a series of strange events. People vanishing, odd lights flickering between the trees, and whispers that echo on the wind. It's not just nature at play. There's something darker here, something that thrives in the shadows. Now, it's easy to brush it off, right? Some hikers get lost, maybe a wild animal's around. But here, people say it's more than that. Much more. Ever heard of the Witch's Hollow? Yeah, locals won't even go near it. And don't get me started on the lights. Floating orbs that drift through the trees, only to vanish without a trace. This forest, it's been the site of some seriously twisted stuff. Back in the day, it was the spot for witches, where they gathered to do dark, ancient rituals. We're talking centuries of bad energy, magic that still lingers. These weren't your average spells either. This was the dark stuff, the kind of magic that doesn't just fade away. It sticks around. But hold on, let's talk about the witch's grave for a second. It's buried deep within the forest, a place where the souls of women who allegedly made dark pacts with the devil are said to rest. This isn't just some spooky cemetery. Nah, it's a place where the line between the living and the dead is razor thin. And tourists? Yeah, they come in thinking it's a cool hike, but many don't last. Why? They say the moment they step in, it feels like the forest itself is pressing down on their chest, like it doesn't want them there. Pretty damn unsettling. Then there's the disappearances. Real deal. Even today, hikers hear footsteps right behind them. They turn around, no one there. You're alone. But you're not. The forest has this way of feeling alive. Some say the Black Forest isn't just a forest. It's a boundary, a thin veil between the living and the dead. And if you're not careful, it might just pull you through. You still want to take a stroll through this place. Once you hear the stories, trust me, you'll look at every shadow a little differently. All right, we're breaking into the top 10 haunted spots now. And we're starting strong with Dragsholm Castle in Denmark, Danish countryside. Dragsholm Castle has a dark history that's been simmering for centuries. Built back in the 12th century, this place has seen it all. Wars, betrayals, and a whole lot of dark, twisted history. And it's not just any old spooky castle. It's got real spooky street cred. Rumor has it that one of the most notorious spirits here is the ghost of a woman, Lady in White, who allegedly lived there centuries ago. But that's not all. She's just the tip of the iceberg. This castle is home to several restless souls, some of whom were prisoners locked away in the castle's dungeons. Some say their screams still echo in the walls. Workers working in and around the castle have reported hearing heavy, unpleasant sound, seen doors creak open on their own, and felt the temperature drop when no one's there. Even the most hardened skeptics can't deny it's alive with something else. You think you're safe in the daylight, but when night falls, that's when the castle comes to life in the worst way possible. Dragsholm isn't some tourist attraction. It's a haunted living relic where restless spirits roam. So, if you thought Denmark was all castles and chilled beer, think again. This spot? Top tier creepy, and it's not giving up its secrets anytime soon. Welcome to the top 10, where the dead still walk. Khao, Phra, Thaew Forest, Phuket, Thailand. Sounds like a tropical paradise, right? This is no ordinary jungle. Locals call it a sacred land, but there's an edge to it, a shadow that creeps in once the sun goes down. There's one story that keeps everyone on edge, the ghost of a bride in white. They say she roams the trails, her sorrow spilling into the air. Tourists have reported hearing faint cries, feeling cold gusts of wind in the humid heat, or catching glimpses of someone just out of sight. And it's not just her. The whole forest feels alive, but not in the way you'd hope. Visitors have felt like they're being watched, their every step followed by unseen eyes. Ancient rituals performed here left marks, and trust me, not all of them are good vibes. You came for waterfalls and exotic wildlife? Sure, you'll find them. But once the sun sets, Khao Phra Thaew becomes something else entirely. A playground for the unexplained. Enter if you dare, but don't expect to leave the same. Ever heard of a place that defies science itself? Welcome to the Devil's Kettle. Nestled in Minnesota's Judge C. R. Magny State Park, this isn't your average scenic spot. Sure, it's got waterfalls and trails, but what draws people in and freaks them out is the kettle. So here's the deal. Halfway down the roaring Brule River, the water splits. One side keeps flowing downstream, nothing unusual, but the other? It plunges into this giant pothole and just vanishes. Scientists have tried everything to figure out where it goes. Dyes, ping pong balls, you name it. Every experiment comes up blank. It's like the earth just swallows it whole. But the locals, they've got their theories. Some say it's a portal to another dimension, swallowing more than just water. Over the years, there have been stories of strange occurrences near the kettle. Objects disappearing, eerie whispers in the mist, and the unsettling feeling that something ancient is watching. Even skeptics who come for the science can't ignore the unsettling vibes. This isn't just a hole in the ground. It's a mystery that pulls you in, figuratively and maybe even literally. So, step closer if you dare. But remember, the Devil's Kettle doesn't give anything back. Not answers, not objects, and maybe not you. You thought Malaysia was all about beaches, right? Wrong! Let me take you to Bukit Tungku, a place where the city's beauty hides a goddamn nightmare beneath it. They call it the Hill of Death for a reason. During World War II, when the Japanese came in, this place became ground zero for some of the most savage executions and torture you can imagine. We're talking about blood-soaked land, where every corner is haunted by the screams of the innocent. These aren't just ghost stories. They're the kind of rumors you can feel in your bones when you step foot here. Ever heard a footstep echo when there's no one around? Yeah, people here say that shit happens all the time. You'll be walking down these roads, thinking you're alone, but the whispers and footsteps, they're not yours. They're from the souls who never got a proper rest. Some say they see shadowy figures slipping in and out of view, just enough to mess with your head, but never enough to prove they're real. And if you're crazy enough to roll through at night, good luck. Drivers claim that weird pressure builds up like a damn weight on their chest. Like something is watching, something that's not supposed to be there. That feeling doesn't go away either. Locals talk about abandoned mansions where the air gets thick, the kind of thick you can't shake off. It's like the past is still here, breathing down your neck, demanding you pay attention. But here's the thing, the land itself? It's not just haunted. It feels haunted. It's got a presence, a dark, oppressive energy that you can't ignore. It's like it pulls you in and won't let you leave until you're knee-deep in the past nightmare. Those who've been brave enough to venture into the dark corners here swear that the boundary between the living and the dead is thin as hell. And if you're not careful, Bukit Tungku will make damn sure you remember that. Hell's Gate, Kenya. Sounds wild, right? You bet your ass it is. This place? Straight up terrifying. It's a national park, but don't let the word park fool you. This place isn't just about cliffs and wildlife. It's got a dark side that's waiting to swallow you whole. The locals call it Hell's Gate for a reason, and if you're brave enough to roll up here, you'll see why. First off, it's not just a landscape that'll spook you. This is the spot where things have gone real bad. The place is home to hellish legends that go back centuries. Stories of spirits roaming the land, waiting for their next victim. People swear that the cries of the dead still echo through the gorge. It's a place where time doesn't seem to move right, and no one's ever really sure whether they're hearing real sounds or the whispers of the past. And let's talk about that water. Hell's Gate is named after a natural gap in the rocks, but that's just the surface. Below, beneath those darkened cliffs, lies the real kicker. The ground is hollow, with caves that echo the screams of past explorers, and even some wild animals that met their fate way too close to the heart of this hellish place. If you've ever had that feeling like you're being watched, this is a place that'll make your skin crawl. Some say the animals won't even go near certain parts, like they know what's up. But here's the kicker. The energy of this place is real. You get that unsettling feeling that you're being pulled in, like the land itself is trying to drag you down into its depths. Hell's Gate isn't just some spooky spot. It's a whole vibe. Where the air gets heavy, your pulse picks up, and you can't shake the feeling that something ancient is just waiting for you to get too close. Hell's Gate isn't just another place you can walk through and forget. It's a living nightmare, soaked in death and ghost stories. If you're not careful, it might just show you what hell feels like. Grootkenstanche Wine Estate, South Africa. This one's a real gem in the haunted world. Don't let the lush vineyards and beautiful views fool you, 'cause beneath all that beauty, it's hiding some serious dark energy. This estate is one of the oldest in South Africa, founded in 1685, and with that much history, you better believe it's got some ghosts roaming around. The place is haunted by the spirits of slaves who were mistreated, and they're not exactly giving up their rest anytime soon. Workers of the estate claim to hear voices calling out in the night, and some say the shadows around the estate just don't look right, like they're moving on their own. But it gets worse. The mansion itself, that's where the real action happens. Some say they've seen the apparition of a woman, dressed in white, pacing the halls of the manor at night. Not exactly the kind of ghost you want to bump into after a few too many glasses of wine. Rumor has it, she's searching for something or someone, and if you're unlucky enough to cross her path, she might just make sure you don't leave the same way you came in. The vineyard might have a wine tasting tour, but what it's really offering is a taste of terror you won't forget. Every bottle poured might be steeped in history, but some of that history is definitely not the kind you want to drink in. Château de Brissac, France. Don't let the picturesque gardens and grand stone walls fool you. This place is straight up haunted. We're talking about a castle that's been around since the 11th century, and trust me, centuries of history pack a punch. Built in 1502, it's seen its fair share of wars, betrayals, and drama. But it's not just old. It's packed with supernatural energy that'll make your blood run cold. Here's the kicker. The ghost here is real and not just some wandering soul. We're talking about the infamous Green Lady, who's said to be the spirit of Charlotte de Brissac, the wife of a former duke. Charlotte was murdered by her husband after he caught her cheating, and her ghost has never left. People claim they've seen her gliding through the castle, dressed in a green gown, looking for something or maybe someone. It's not just sightings, though. Staff and visitors have heard whispers in the halls, doors that slam on their own, and cold spots that hit you like a punch to the gut. Some people have even claimed they felt a hand grab their shoulder when they're alone, only to turn around and find no one there. The energy, heavy, dark, and if you think this castle's all quiet and elegant at night, think again. Once the sun goes down, the whole vibe shifts. Want to spend the night here? Good luck. It's not just a history that haunts these walls. It's the spirits that refuse to rest. If you're brave enough to wander through its eerie halls, be ready for more than just ghosts. it might just take a piece of your soul too. Chateau de Brissac. It's a damn haunted masterpiece. The Rodas Fort, Punjab, Pakistan. This place, you don't just walk through it, you feel it. Built in the 16th century by the legendary Afghan king, Sher Shah Suri. This massive fort is a terrifying testament to power, violence, and bloodshed. And it's been standing there through centuries of invasions and battles, absorbing every ounce of death that's gone down within its walls. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill ancient ruin, no. The Rodas Fort has seen countless lives lost, brutal executions, and unimaginable suffering. The eerie atmosphere of the fort is thick with it. Some say the souls of those who met grisly and still wander the fortress, unable to find peace. Rumor has it that there are nights when the wind carries eerie voices, ghostly screams that echo off the fort's thick stone walls. Some visitors have reported feeling like they were being watched from the dark shadows of the ancient towers, while others claim to have seen figures flickering at the corners of their eyes, only to vanish when they looked closer. The fort's well known for its tunnels, which locals say were used for executions. Imagine this. Prisoners led to their doom, the cold metal of chains rattling down damp corridors, their cries for mercy swallowed by the stone. Today, those tunnels are still haunted. People say they felt icy chills while wandering inside, or heard the echo of chains scraping across the stone floors. Even the ancient gates here, heavy, ominous, with an unwelcoming energy. It's as if they've seen it all. The betrayals, the blood, the war, and they're not done holding on to it. The Rodas Fort isn't just a fort. It's a death trap of history, and if you're ever brave enough to step inside, you're walking on ground soaked in ghosts and memories that refuse to stay buried. The Rock, Sydney, Australia. This place? Oh, it's a real treat if you're looking for a walk through history with a side of ghosts. Located right in the heart of Sydney, The Rocks is an old, cobblestone-laden district that looks picturesque during the day, but when the sun dips and the shadows creep across those narrow alleyways, that's when it gets dark. The entire area is like one big haunted maze. Why? Well, we're talking about over 200 years of death and misery right here. The Rocks was once a place where convicts were dropped off, living in appalling conditions before their punishment was either served out or they met their grim fate. And yeah, those spirits, they're still hanging around. Let's start with the Russell Hotel, one of the most haunted spots in the district. Visitors have reported someone's walking upstairs when no one's around, while others claim to have felt a cold hand brush their shoulder. Some guests say they've seen figures lurking in the darkened corners of the hotel, disappearing the second they try to approach. We're talking about the spirits of long-dead sailors, convicts, and workers who never left. As for the rest of the Rocks, well, locals swear they've seen ghostly apparitions lurking around the old pubs and alleyways, often accompanied by strange noises like muffled voices and dragging chains. The history here is filled with death, murder, and secrets that nobody wants to talk about, but everybody knows. And if you wander these streets at night, expect to feel something following you. The whole place, alive with the restless souls of those who suffered and died, never moving on. The Rocks? Yeah, it's got a past that haunts every brick, every cobblestone. If you want to visit Sydney, go ahead. Just don't say I didn't warn you. You won't be able to shake the feeling that something's always watching. You think you're tough enough to face the Ural Mountains? Yeah, well, this isn't a playground. It's where the dead never rest and where the unexplainable happens. Welcome to Dyatlov Pass, Russia's most twisted mystery. Get ready, because the story behind this place, it's got a darkness so deep it'll freeze you to the bone. Picture this. 1959, a group of 9 hikers, tough, experienced, ready to conquer nature. They vanish, only to be found weeks later. their bodies scattered across the mountains in ways that just don't make sense. Some were disemboweled, others had their eyes gouged out, and one hiker was missing his tongue. You can't make this stuff up. It's a chilling tale that no one has been able to solve. And the theories? They'll make you question everything you know about reality. You think an avalanche could explain all this? No. Their tent was slashed open from the inside. Why? What kind of panic could drive people to do that? And the injuries? Not typical. This isn't your run-of-the-mill disaster. Some say it was military testing. Others whisper that something far darker, more supernatural, is at work here. But that's not all. Locals swear the place is cursed. There's something in those mountains, something that hunts the curious and traps the unwary. Some visitors report seeing strange lights in the sky, feeling the air grow thick, and hearing whispers in the wind. But when they look around, there's no one there. The Dyatlov Pass isn't just a place. It's a warning, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead is thin, where what happened to those hikers still lurks in the shadows, waiting to claim anyone else dumb enough to venture in. So, go ahead, step into Dyatlov Pass. But don't say we didn't warn you. What happened to those hikers? No one knows. And maybe, just maybe, you don't want to find out. Think Dyatlov Pass was freaky? Nah, you ain't seen nothing yet. Next time, we're talking haunted islands. Places so cursed even the waves don't want to crash there. Creepy whispers? Check. Ghosts that don't play nice? You bet. Want to know about Poveglia Island? It's dubbed the most haunted spot in the world. Over 160,000 plague victims were dumped there, and their ashes still mix with the soil. Ghost hunters? They don't stay long. Smash that like button. Hit 1K. And I'll spill the secrets. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Please subscribe to my channel.